Hmm. The lie of self-worth. Whew, it's a biggie. And really and truly, how to avoid the pitfalls of overgiving, under-earning, and this exhaustion we get from trying to prove our worth to others. Welcome. I am Lauren Polly, life coach, international motivational speaker, and the award-winning author of The Other Side of Bipolar. You are watching Frisky Fridays with Lauren, which is a live weekly Q&A. And our question today comes from Christy, all the way from Ohio. She says, I feel like I've been trying to find people to have in my life that see my worth and appreciate me. It seems like it's really hard to find. Don't we all know that? Just as I keep trying to please them, but I end up overgiving and feel like I'm not getting anything in return. I think this is huge. And one of the reasons that I picked this question to really dive into this week, a lot of us find ourselves at prey to this idea constantly, that if we're going to have people in our lives that actually love us and care for us and give back, that we constantly have to prove that we have value to actually get it in return. This is one of the biggest lies out there, and quite detrimental not only to your self-esteem and how you show up in the world, but also in terms of relationship creation. You end up pulling people into your life who not only don't see your value, but sometimes just can't. They're not really capable of that. I found an amazing quote out there. Let me read that. It says, if you find yourself constantly trying to prove your worth to others, then you've already lost sight of your value. And I love that because it actually brings us into this knowledge base and shows us where we're putting our attention. Most of us, when we want to actually have a sense of self, sense of worth, and sense of value, what we look for is other people to validate us. So we look outward. We don't actually look inward. We look to see other people going, you're doing it correctly. You're doing a wonderful job. I really like you. I really enjoy being around you. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of money to do this job. And that becomes the validating factor that we're actually of worth. Ooh, that's a big no-no. Because what of course happens is you get involved in these relationships where those people don't actually give that to you, and therefore you can't have the value of yourself. There's really and truly so much more possible if you're willing to turn the table and look at this from a different perspective. You've got to stop looking outward. Stop looking for validation from other people. Stop trying to prove you have value by giving away everything that you've got, by under-earning. A lot of us do that. We have all these skill sets and we give ourselves away on the cheap, thinking that people will see our value and maybe give us more money later, maybe hire us for a bigger job. It's actually a devaluing of yourself. So taking the lens outward with that validation, turning it inward, what could be possible? One tool and trick I'd like you to start playing with right now is to start an acknowledgement journal. Now, this is different. Some people have like a gratitude journal. I know Oprah's really big on that. Things that you're grateful in your life. Absolutely, look at that. What I'd like you to do is actually turn the lens towards yourself. And the acknowledgement is something of like, wow, this one thing I'm actually really good at. People relax when they're around me. When I smile at people, they light up. I'm really amazing with my children. At work, I can handle 5 projects at once. No one else can really do that. There are ways you can start acknowledging the things that you see value in. That allows you to kind of fill up your own bank of self-worth. What that will do, it'll give you some legs to stand on so you're not constantly looking outward for validation and falling prey to those pitfalls, under-earning, over-giving, getting exhausted with the proving and defending of yourself. It actually kind of builds up your own bank, so even if no one else sees it, at least you do. And just another tidbit to start playing with, if you're constantly looking for people to see the value in you, but you don't actually see it in yourself, you'll never be able to find people who can truly, truly acknowledge you and be grateful for you. That's just not how it's built. That's not how it works. The lens and the acknowledgement has to come from within and from yourself first and foremost. And then from there, turn your gaze outward and just see what gets created. See who you can actually invite into your life. All right, I'm going to be chatting about this all week on my Facebook page. What I invite you to do is go to the link above, Lauren Polly Coaching, and you can follow up with blog posts, some quote graphics, things like that that we're going to be diving into. And I invite you to play, get on, start sharing what you acknowledge in yourself, because a beautiful thing with this is we can contribute to each other. When someone acknowledges something about themselves and they're bold enough to actually express it that way, someone else becomes emboldened to claim that about themselves as well. So jump in, start to have some fun, and what can we acknowledge with ourselves that takes us out of the need to have others validate us. Time to acknowledge you. And I will chat with you next week. Bye, guys.